It's the Happy Families podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
G'day, this is Dr. Justin Coulson, the founder of happyfamilies.com.au, dad to 6 daughters, husband to 1 wife, and the parenting expert and co-host on Channel 9's Parental Guidance, also the host of this podcast, the Happy Families podcast. Thank you so much for listening and allowing me into your life to hopefully be useful in making your family happier. Right now, school holidays in Queensland, which means that I'm doing my best to spend as much time in the sunshine with Kylie and the girls as I can. Today's guest is the author of Mama Rising, a former ABC journalist who now talks about this stage that new mums go through called matrescence. It's like adolescence, but matrescence. Amy Taylor-Kabbaz is going to be part of the Happy Families Hot Mess Summit. We've got Amanda Keller, Ian Kerner, the author of She Comes First, and So Tell Me About the Last Time You Had Sex, Dr. Shafali Sabari, Oprah's parenting expert. We've got Jessica Rowe and Amy Taylor-Kabbaz, among others. In fact, there are more, and we'll be talking to them during lightning rounds this week. But I'm so excited to have Amy Taylor-Kabbaz joining me for not just the Happy Families Hot Mess Summit, which the details can be found for at happyfamilies.com.au, but for a lightning round today on the Happy Families podcast. Amy, thank you for joining me on the podcast. Are you ready for your lightning round?
I am so ready.
Okay. 3 kids, how old?
14, 12 and 8.
Do you have a favourite child?
It depends on the day. It really does. Each of them have their own beautiful personalities. But I have to say, I have 2 girls and a boy. And getting that bonus baby boy, he was a surprise, has been a phenomenal joy. The difference between boys and girls. Yeah, I love having a little boy. Don't tell my girls that.
As a dad to 6 girls, I have no idea what you're talking about. Ideal number of kids?
Oh, look, I always said that if I was married to a packer or someone who had endless amounts of money, I would have at least gone 4. But I live in the inner city of Sydney, so probably 2 would have been ideal because 3 is actually really hard to find a house that I can afford.
How do you rate yourself as a parent?
Very highly. I rate myself 9 out of 10. I've worked very hard on believing in myself as a good mum, and I'm in a good place with that.
What's something great that your parents did when they were parenting you that you've tried to continue in your parenting?
My dad is a former police officer, and he always made me feel that whatever I have done, whatever it is, I can ring him day or night and he would come and pick me up, no questions asked. There was this assumption that everything was always going to be okay. And I really wanted that for my kids. Whatever it is, whatever they've done, whatever mess they're in, I'm going to be there. I'll ask questions later, but you call me. It will be, I won't judge you at the time. You call me, I'll pick you up. I'll be there.
Amy Taylor-Kabbaz, author of Mama Rising. You're not with your husband anymore, but who is the better parent, you or him? I love watching people squirm when I ask this question.
Look, it's me, but I will preface that answer by saying, to be fair, we needed to, for financial reasons, one of us needed to do a lot more of the career building at various points of our life. And so for many of the years when the babies were really little, he was hardly ever home. So I think it's more the hands-on experience that made me more confident and know what each kid needed and their unique personalities. Then he was able to be there for simply because of our circumstances. So I'll preface my answer by that. And you know what? Even if he was listening, he'd agree with that.
What's the hardest thing about being a parent?
Letting go. Yeah, letting go, especially now as I'm watching my 2 eldest girls enter high school and enter relationships, the first boyfriend, all of that, the bullying, the struggles, the social media. I was terribly bullied as a teenager, and to not step in, wrap them in cotton wool and move to a deserted island is actually really, really hard.
Yeah, I hear you. I've been there. Not to the deserted island, but to the desire to move to one. Amy, if you could spend an hour with your kids at any age, what age would you choose and why?
Oh, that's so interesting. I would say now.
Yeah, right.
I am actually really loving these ages for each of them. I love the 14-year-old age. I love her interest in the world, her interest in politics, how great our conversations are. I actually think 12 is probably the hardest age. So my middle child would probably bump her age up just a little bit to get me past the current, little challenges we're having. And an 8-year-old boy is just delicious.
Right.
But I also have to say, not for my first, but my second and third, I adored the newborn stage. The first was a disaster and I was terrified the whole time. But by the time I knew what I was doing sort of with the second and the third, that fourth trimester bubble of just sitting on the couch and feeding and sleeping for days and days and days, there is something absolutely magical about that time.
Yeah, you've taken me back there. Okay, what is the ultimate joy, Amy, as a parent? Ultimate joy?
Seeing my children be proud of themselves. To watch them really find their own unique skills or strengths or resilience, overcome something, and that little sparkle in their eyes like, I did that. I love seeing that.
Here's the most provocative question of the entire lightning round. What's the right age for kids to have a mobile phone?
All my children get mobile phones at 10 when they go on their first school camp. I will add, to justify myself, that I am the only one, apparently, in the whole high school, according to my eldest, who does not allow them to have phones in their bedroom overnight.
The only one in the whole high school?
Apparently, according to my 14-year-old, I am the only parent in year 9 in the whole school who doesn't allow phones in bedrooms.
This is my favorite question. What's that thing that your parents always said that you swore you'd never say, but it keeps popping out of your mouth anyway?
My mum used to, when she was overwhelmed, she used to say, I can't stand it. Like, I couldn't stand it if you do that again. And she would get so frustrated with my sister and I that she would get to the point where she would say, if you guys don't stop doing this, I can't stand it. It would be about her. It would be about her not being able to cope with anything. And when I was a teenager and a child, I always thought that was a really awful thing to say at that moment. Like, this isn't about you, Mum. This is about me and my sister. And I just hated how she said that. And I say it all the time.
I can't stand it when you say that, Amy. Can't stand that.
Like, if you guys don't stop fighting, I just can't stand it. And the words come out of my mouth, and I think that is the one thing that I hated hearing my mum say, and it just unconsciously comes out of my mouth.
Yeah, my mother is in my larynx. Okay, we've got just a couple of questions to wrap up this lightning round. What's your kids' favourite thing to do with you?
I think they would all say snuggle. We have a great tradition of lying on beds and just cuddling and massaging and hanging out.
What are you most looking forward to as a parent?
I'm taking all 3 kids on my own to Fiji for 10 days, and I cannot wait to just hang out with them by the pool and have that time with no pressure, no school, no homework, no washing. Yeah.
Living life. If you could go back to you as a young mum, having one of those tough moments and being inexperienced, having not written or read Mummerising, what advice would you give yourself, Amy?
I would say that it's okay you don't know what you're doing. It's okay that this feels like you've lost yourself, because you have, because who you used to be is no longer here anymore. Don't worry, you'll find her. You'll find a better version of yourself. All of this is going to make so much sense one day.
That is touching. That is genuinely beautiful. I'm finding myself getting weepy listening to you say that.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's why matrescence and the understanding of it was so powerful for me, and it's what I hear every day in my DMs and in my inbox and in, coaching calls is, I wish I had known this. I would have been so much kinder to myself. So that's what I hope.
Last question for our lightning round, Amy Taylor-Kabbaz. Biggest win as a mum?
Building really great relationships with my kids, building a really great connection where at the moment, they feel like they can tell me anything.
I love these conversations. Amy Taylor-Kabbaz, the author of Mummerising. What a delight. Thanks for joining me for a Happy Families Lightning Round.
Loved it. Thanks, Justin.
The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rillon from Bridge Media. Craig Bruce is our executive producer. And for more information about making your family happier, check out Amy's book, Mummerising, and visit us at happyfamilies.com.au.